Thank you very much. Good afternoon, David. Can you update us, first of all, on team news, how the international players have come back, if you can make an early assessment? Does having a Monday fixture help a little bit?
Having a Monday fixture definitely helps because it gives you a little bit more, but also helps Wolves as well, that they'll have the same situation as us. We'll get a couple of days longer. We're still assessing them. We're getting them back in dribs and drabs and, you know, getting them ready. Some of them have the game a bit earlier in the week, some a bit later. But like everything else, we've got a few knocks and bruises, but I think everybody's the same this time of the season.
What about some of the other longer-term injured players who are maybe coming back into contention? I'm thinking the likes of Andrei Yarmolenko and Arthur Masuaku. Could Arthur maybe be in contention for Monday?
Well, Arthur's back playing. He played a reserve game a week or so ago, so Arthur's back round. Whether he's fully match fit yet, we would need to question it. Yarmolenko is not ready yet. He went to see a specialist about his knee again. He's had a medial ligament injury, which we don't think is too bad, but we're just not quite convinced with it. So Angelic Bonner's making good progress, but not ready at this moment in time. So we've got a few knocks and niggles, as I said, like everybody else, but we've also got a few players who are getting closer to return to match fitness as well.
Yeah, some great performances by some of your players in the internationals. Thomas got a hat-trick for the Czechs, didn't he? Jesse and Declan both got Player of the Match awards for England. Does it help you as a club to be seen to have players doing that on the international stage, showing yourself a club going places, if you like? Does it help in the longer term, maybe in a recruitment sense too?
Well, I hope so, but it shows you that the boys are not only playing well for the club at West Ham here, but when they do go on international duty, they're performing again at a high level. Thomas has been doing it quite regular for the Czechs. Declan's been there, getting Jesse back in and around the England squad. I mean, he's on loan from Manchester United, but at the moment, he's playing for us and we're enjoying having him. It's something I'd like. I'd like more international players. I think having that tends to give me the stature. We're one of the clubs with the least amount of international players. So we have to try and keep adding to the group of players we've got. But I think the players are doing very well.
Obviously, getting into Europe would help you attract that calibre of player. You said a few weeks ago you'd maybe have an assessment of it when you were down to single figures in terms of games. You are now, obviously. Yeah. Is there a points total in your head? I mean, great that you're in Champions League contention. That's an achievement at itself at this time of the season. Is there a points figure in your head that you think might get you there?
I did say that when we get to single games, I start looking at it, and I am, but it's really tight. There's 5 or 6 teams that could be in several different positions. So what I've done in my head with that is to say, simply, if I take it one by one now, it is down to 9. Could we absolutely take one on and see where we go with one, then the next one? But look, we weren't expected to be in this position, but we're going to try and do everything to stay in this position. And if that gets us into one of the European competitions, that would be great. If it doesn't, we'll look at it and probably still look and say that we've had a good season. So we have to try and keep going. Make it a great season if we can by making one of the European competitions.
Thanks, Craig. Anne-Marie, PLP.
Happy Easter, David.
You too, Anne-Marie. Yeah.
Your last meeting with Wolves in September, I'm sure you can remember with fondness, ended with a 4-0 win to West Ham. How much do you and the team want to go out there and do the double on them?
Well, the fondness I take from that is that I had COVID and I was sitting in my apartment watching the result coming in, Anne-Marie. So it was a great credit to my staff and how well they've done the job and the players as well for their professionalism. So I hope we can try and do the double, but obviously it's a really tough game to play against Wolves. I thought they showed really good signs in their last game against Liverpool. They played well, I felt. So I understand it's going to be another tough game for us.
How essential is it to maintain a high level of intensity in the 90 against a team that have a really solid counter-attacking approach?
Well, I think they do have that, and I think that they've been a strong side for a few seasons now, Wolves. I think everybody's seen that. We've seen how well they've done. So, we have to be aware for them in all different parts. They're good on the ball. They're an all-round good team. Maybe not having as good a season as what maybe they've had in the past, but that's what happens while you're trying to grow and become a better club. And And Wolves have certainly done that. In recent years, they've done great and made great strides, Wolves, in coming into the Premier League and staying there and actually competing at a really high level.
Where do you think your team can exploit Wolves' vulnerabilities?
Well, Anne-Marie, if you don't mind, I wouldn't tell you because I don't let them know that. But overall, we have to try and keep playing the way we have been. We have to try and, be aggressive. No, we're going to try and win every game we possibly can. But that also comes from having a good defence and trying to make sure that we defend when we have to. But at the right moments, make sure we attack and get enough players forward and people who can try and score.
Last one from me. Jesse Lingard is averaging a goal or an assist every 88 minutes for West Ham in the Premier League this season. What do you put that down to?
I think it's a great start. I like that.
It is a great start, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'd say, it's great for us. And when you bring people in January, you're hoping that they can make a difference or they can do something for you. I would have to say Jesse's done that for us, and that start certainly sort of backs that up.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. George?
Hi, George.
David. Just going back to that Wolves game, it was only the third game of the season, wasn't it, in terms of the league? But how significant was it to actually win that? You'd gone to Arsenal, played really well, but it was a second defeat in a row, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And it was a tough game because we had actually played Wolves in one of the remaining lockdown games after we came back and we lost 2-0. And we'd done okay, but we just weren't quite good enough. So to get such a positive result at the start of this season against Wolves was really important, especially after we'd lost the first two games. And as you rightly said, we played really well at Arsenal and didn't take anything from the game. So for the team to go and get such a strong performance, the goals, it gave us a lot of confidence. And, it was something for us to build on. But again, the signs had been there. It didn't seem to, it didn't really sort of come from our first two games. But behind the scenes, we'd all felt that we were in pretty good shape. We just needed things to turn, and thankfully the Wolves game, it happened then.
And just in terms of Declan, he's been fantastic all season, hasn't he, for yourselves? But he's, especially this international break, he's had plenty of plaudits from all around. Just sort of pleased that everyone's kind of seeing on an international scale what you've been sort of saying for the last 6 to 12 months about him.
Declan's been improving no end, and he's been getting better. He's a massive player for us, and he drives us on. And I've said he's getting better in many ways. His leadership, his understanding of the game, his professionalism. And that's what happens when young players come in and they step up. He's now getting a chance to see the best in the country. He's training with them. He's working alongside them. And it gives you a sort of guide to show you the level you have to get to. And I have to say Declan's stepping up and joining them now. And we always thought he could do, and I'm sure he'll continue to get better as well.
Thank you. Cameras off. Duncan, do you want to kick us off for the written, please?